Episode 61, Manipulating 8 Tails Jinchuriki, 3 more. Why? How is it possible? Why does this guy have such strength? The faces of the people on the platform were shocked. Who is AI? The son of 3rd Raikage, the candidate of 4th Raikage, a real cage-level master, is the second person of Cloud Shinobi Village. And what about Lee Yue? Konoha was a genius 8 years ago. And then, gone. Logically speaking, shouldn't AI crush Lee Yue, but why is it the other way around? Hurry up and follow. The group from Cloud Shinobi Village must not be allowed to escape. There's a huge commotion ahead. Master Lee Yue probably fought with the group from Cloud Shinobi Village. Let's hurry up to support. When Tutai and others were shocked, there was a shout from a distance, and then a group of Konoha shinobi appeared. But soon, the shouting stopped. The Konoha shinobi who rushed here were all frozen in place, their eyes widened. What did they see? The Cloud shinobi who escaped before all fell down. That Yue AI, the so-called 4th Raikage candidate, was stepped on the ground by Lee Yue and remained motionless? What's the situation? A crowd of Konoha shinobi stared wide-eyed, wondering if they had read it wrong. Lee Yue. Tsunade stood up with surprise on her beautiful face. Is it because of the ninjutsu just now? That ninjutsu should be unique to the Uchiha clan, right? Orochimaru's eyes flashed. Susanoo is as high as 100 meters, even if it is far away, it can be seen, but most people don't know what ninjutsu is. Tie them up, they're worth 2 billion. At this time, Lee Yue kicked away Yi Yue who had passed out, and said with a smile. 2 billion? Everyone was taken aback, full of doubts. We kindly escorted Cloud Shinobi back to the village, but were attacked by Cloud Shinobi, and I was also injured in this attack. Shouldn't Cloud Shinobi Village pay compensation? Lee Yue glanced at the people on the Earth platform. Well? Konoha's group of people stared wide-eyed, their faces full of disbelief. Shameless. The earthen platform lying on the ground beside him, who was not unconscious, almost vomited blood. It is obvious that they are being held hostage, but they are said to be escorts. And most importantly, where is Lee Yue injured? There is nothing wrong with being alive and kicking. So Lee Yue's words are simply an excuse. The purpose is to blackmail Cloud Shinobi Village. Why are you still in a daze? Tie it up quickly. Lee Yue ignored Tutai's words, but shouted with a smile. A casual fight earned 2 billion. No loss. Oh tilde. Konoha's ninja finally came back to his senses, rushed to the Earth platform with a look of excitement, and tied them up. They understood what Lee Yue meant. Knowing that the platform is no longer as simple as Cloud Shinobi, but a meat ticket worth 2 billion. If you can really get 2 billion, then Konoha will get 4 billion in compensation. 4 billion. When Tsunagakure surrendered to Konoha last year, all war reparations were only 4 billion. Now because of this little thing, you get 4 billion, and Konoha can't take off. Master Lee Yue is really amazing. Yeah, I thought of a new blackmail method easily. Idiot, how can you say it's extortion? Didn't you see that Master Lee Yue was attacked by Cloud Shinobi, so it's medical damages? Yes, medical damages. A group of ninjas discussed and looked at Lee Yue with admiration. How is this guy so smart? Sarutobi Shinsuke looked unwilling. He understood that once the village really received 4 billion in compensation, then Lee Yue's reputation would definitely skyrocket, even reaching the level of Konoha Sannin. Thinking of this, he became jealous. As the son of Hokage, he also thought about relying on his father's support and resources to become the 4th Hokage. But as he got older, he found that he was not that material at all. Not only is the strength poor, but the brain is also poor. Compared with Lee Yue, it's like heaven and earth, completely incomparable. When he thought of the gap between himself and Lee Yue, he felt anxious for a while, leaving only all kinds of envy and jealousy in his heart. Lee Yue, this will really cost Cloud Shinobi Village 4 billion? Orochimaru frowned, feeling a little unrealistic. If it is only 2 billion, he still thinks it is possible. After all, the future 4th Raikage is in their hands, and Cloud Shinobi Village will have to pay if it does not pay. But 4 billion is different. This kind of huge compensation is already the compensation after the defeat of a ninja world war. Even if 3rd Raikage is willing to come out, Cloud Shinobi Village may not be willing to come out. Once the persecution is too extreme, with the character of the reckless people in Cloud Shinobi Village, it is really possible to turn the table and fight Konoha directly. Don't worry, I have a calendar. Lee Yue chuckled. He knows the character of Cloud Shinobi. It is more difficult than going to heaven to make a group of reckless people lose 4 billion yuan. Even if he kidnaps Yue AI, it's useless. After all, 3rd Raikage is not 3rd Hokage. Jail does things for his son to use power for personal gain. If something harms the interests of the village, 3rd Raikage will definitely abandon his son 817 and declare war on Konoha. Then Li Yue, your solution is? Tsunade asked curiously. Tsunade, you should be able to make psychedelic drugs, right? Li Yue didn't answer immediately, but asked another question. Psychedelics? Sure. Tsunade is confident Kaido. She is the strongest medical ninja in the entire ninja world. The Grandmaster healed her, and naturally the Grandmaster also took various poisons. Hallucinogenic drugs are just one of the simpler poisons, and they are a piece of cake for her. That's it. Li Yue chuckled, and then explained under the puzzled eyes of the two. I heard that the 8 Tails Jinchuriki of Cloud Shinobi Village often go berserk. If at this time the 8 Tails go berserk and hurt Third Raikage, do you think Cloud Shinobi Village will go berserk? Will you agree to a compensation of 4 billion? As he spoke, he explained the plan again. The plan is simple, use hallucinogenic drugs to make 8 Tails Jinchuriki go completely berserk. The runaway 8 Tails is not weak, even Third Raikage needs to use all his strength to suppress it, and may even be injured as a result. Once Third Raikage was injured, who else in Cloud Shinobi Village can stop Konoha? At that time, even if Cloud Shinobi Village does not want to compensate, it will have to compensate. Episode 62, The Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, 4 more. After hearing the plan, the two were startled and frowned. Don't worry, this plan will definitely succeed, Li Yue said with a smile. Having read the original book, he knows who 8 Tails Jinchuriki is. And I also know that Bully is not like Killer Bee, who can completely control the power star of the tailed beast. In the original book, Orochimaru used psychedelic drugs to make Bruby go berserk, so as to get the skin flakes from 8 Tails. But how do we infiltrate Cloud Shinobi Village and find 8 Tails Jinchuriki? Orochimaru asked hoarsely. He thought about the plan carefully, and found that if the plan is successful, it is really possible for Cloud Shinobi Village to pay 4 billion yuan. After all, Cloud Shinobi Village has only 2 cage levels. Yue has been held hostage by them, and if the remaining Third Raikage is also injured because of 8 Tails Rampage, then Cloud Shinobi Village will lose all its pillars. Without the top players in the lineup, Cloud Shinobi Village what to fight with Konoha. At that time, even if Cloud Shinobi Village doesn't want to pay, it has to pay. But the key to it all is that how to infiltrate Cloud Shinobi Village and find 8 Tails Jinchuriki. Don't forget that Yue Ai is the parent and son of Third Raikage, and also a candidate for Fourth Raikage. Now he is being held hostage by us, and Cloud Shinobi Village will definitely try his best to rescue him. When everyone's eyes are on rescuing Yue Ai, how could anyone think that someone would take the opportunity to sneak into Cloud Shinobi Village and attack 8 Tails? Li Yue chuckled, and added, as for where is 8 Tails Jinchuriki? I'm sure 8 Tails Jinchuriki must be in Yunlai Gorge. In the original book, Orochimaru and Urjuzi found Bu Ruby and Killer Bee in Yunlai Gorge. So he is sure that Yunlai Gorge is the hiding place of the 8 Tails of all ages. As long as you go there and look for it, you can find it. As for whether hallucinogenic drugs will work after finding 8 Tails, that's not his concern. After all, if psychedelics don't work, there's still Mangekyo. Big deal to reveal a little secret, use Mangekyo to forcefully control 8 Tails. So controlling 8 Tails is the easiest. Then I'll make the hallucinogen right now? Asked Tsunade. How long? At most half a day. Okay, after you make the hallucinogen, Orochimaru and I will leave the team and go to Cloud Shinobi Village. Li Yue said with a smile. Give it to me. Tsunade nodded heavily. After speaking, the group of people prepared to return to the place where they were trimmed before. But when everyone returned to that place, they saw the 3 of Minato, and there was a Killer Bee with a blue nose and a swollen face tied next to the 3 of them. The direction in which Killer Bee was escaping happened to be the direction in which the 3 of Minato were training. After Minato and the 3 saw Killer Bee sneaking around, they immediately understood that Killer Bee wanted to escape, and after a fight, they captured Killer Bee back. Well done, Li Yue praised. Cassina, who was praised, suddenly felt a little embarrassed, insisting that Li Yue rarely praised them. At this time, several people in Tutai also saw Killer Bee, and a touch of despair flashed in their eyes. Their plan completely failed. Not only did no one escape, there may even be an extra 2 billion in compensation. Half a day passed quickly. Night has fallen, covering the entire forest. After half a day's work, Tsunade also prepared the hallucinogenic drugs. This hallucinogenic drug is not only effective on ninjas, but also on tailed beasts. Once 8 Tails Jinchuriki eats it, they will lose consciousness immediately. Li Yue took the medicine. Shall we go now? Asked Orochimaru from the sidelines, obviously ready in his battle suit. Anytime. Li Yue nodded, and then looked at Sarutobi Shinosuke who was not far away, with a smile flashing in his eyes. However, after thinking about it, I feel that the two of us alone are not enough. We need one person to convey the news from both sides to prevent other changes in the plan. Tsunade and Orochimaru were taken aback. After thinking about it, I think it is indeed necessary. This person doesn't need to be too strong. Sarutobi Shinsuke is very suitable. Lee Yue continued. Good. The two nodded without thinking much, and then called Sarutobi Shinsuke. When Sarutobi Shinsuke heard that he was going to Cloud Shinobi Village, he immediately lied. He came here to earn credit. Want him to infiltrate Cloud Shinobi Village? He can't do it, and he doesn't have that kind of strength. Don't worry, you don't need to sneak into Cloud Shinobi Village, just send us a message. Lee Yue said lightly. Well, although he was still reluctant, Sarutobi Shinsuke couldn't refuse, so he could only bite the bullet and agree. Then you get ready and leave in half an hour. Lee Yue didn't say anything, but walked to the side to rest, preparing to adjust to the best condition. Closing her eyes, Lee Yue turned on the system. Check-in system. Host, Uchiha Lee Yue. Sign-in time, 8 years and 30 days. Sign-in rewards, Sun Wheel Knife, Mangekyo Sharingan, Junior Sage Body, Black Particles, Breath of Thunder, Breath of Flame. Looking at the same board as before, Lee Yue felt helpless. Although the system can sign in every day, but most of the things you get when you sign in are ordinary items, such as Kunai Shuriken and Detonating Talisman. I remembered that I hadn't signed in today, so I clicked the sign-in button. Today's rewards are probably Kunai, Detonation Talisman, etc. Lee Yue secretly thought, without any hope. Ding tilde. Congratulations to host for successfully signing in and getting Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. The sound of the system came. Hearing this voice, Lee Yue, who had closed her eyes to meditate, instantly opened her eyes, revealing a look of surprise. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan? Today's luck is so good, Wangs, I got the Eternal Eye directly. Thinking of this, he immediately felt a huge surge of pupil power, and his eyes were stinging. When he reacted, the pitch-black pupils had turned into Mangekyo. And this Mangekyo is not the same as before. Previously Lee Yue's Mangekyo was in the shape of a six-pointed star. But there is an extra six-pointed star with a lighter color and smaller volume in the current six-pointed star. Two six-pointed stars overlapped and staggered together, forming a strange pattern. Eye of Eternity finally got the beam. Lee Yue was very excited. After finally calming down the excitement in his heart, he closed the Eternal Eye, and then glanced at Sarutobi Shinsuke, his eyes full of killing intent. With the Eternal Eye, he is no longer afraid of anyone. FFLX. It's time for Sarutobi Hiruzen to avenge his suppression. Sarutobi Shinsuke must die. Sarutobi Hiruzen, the chief culprit, will not let him go easily when he returns to the village. Episode 63, Sarutobi Hiruzen's son is about to die again. 5 more. Under the moonlight. The figures of Lee Yue and the three of them were speeding through a certain forest at high speed. It has been a day since the three of them left the team. After a day of hard work, the three of them had almost arrived at Cloud Shinobi Village. And just as Lee Yue thought, Cloud Shinobi Village's eyes were all on the border of the Land of Thunder, never thinking that someone would take the opportunity to sneak into the Land of Thunder. So the three of them didn't encounter any trouble at all along the way. Stop, it's coming. Lee Yue raised her hand, signaling to stop. Orochimaru and Sarutobi Shinsuke, who were following behind, stopped immediately and saw the village in the distance through the moonlight. Cloud Shinobi Village. Sarutobi Shinsuke's heart skipped a beat. Looking at the faintly visible village under the moonlight, they knew that with their footsteps, they could reach it in 10 minutes at most. Tilde. Does Mr. Lee Yue have any other plans? Orochimaru looked at Lee Yue. Lee Yue nodded, then glanced at Shinsuke, and said with a smile, before I said to let Shinsuke stay outside to give us a call, but I thought about it carefully and found that it was still a little unsafe. If Shinsuke is discovered by Cloud Shinobi, then our plan will be ruined. Sarutobi Shinsuke was taken aback, wondering what Lee Yue's daughter-in-law 590 said. Then what does Mr. Lee Yue mean? Orochimaru narrowed his eyes, keenly he heard something was wrong. Orochimaru, who do you think is the safest person? Lee Yue narrowed her eyes and smiled. After hearing this, Orochimaru took a deep look at Lee Yue, then looked at Shinsuke who was in a daze, not knowing what was going on, and finally smiled lowly. Mr. Lee Yue, do you really want to do this? Once this is done, the Uchiha clan will fight Sarutobi-sensei forever. He understood Lee Yue's words. Who is the safest and safest person in the world? Of course it's dead. Because only the dead can keep secrets. So after hearing Lee Yue's words, he knew that Lee Yue had a murderous intention for Sarutobi Shinsuke. What are you talking about? Sarutobi Shinosuke's face was pale. No matter how stupid he was, he could smell something wrong. But the two ignored him and continued talking. If it was before, I would hesitate, but now there is no need. Li Yue, DBEI, sighed softly. Her tone was indescribably relaxed. In the past, he held back and used the method of using soldiers to block the water and cover it with soil, because he was not strong enough. After all, the high-level cage level is not very strong. Unless they reach Chaoying, no cage level can single out a Daenan village. The third Reikage in the original book is a lesson from the past. It's different now. From the moment you get the Eternal Eye, everything changes. Mangekyo without blind limits. A junior sage body that provides a huge amount of chakra. The combination of the two gives him unrivaled strength. FFLX. He no longer has to be afraid of any force. Even the whole leaf. Is Mr. Li Yue so confident? Orochimaru narrowed his eyes, feeling a little suspicious in his heart, unable to understand why Li Yue had such a change. I have cut off the shackles. Li Yue chuckled, then turned and walked towards Sarutobi Shinosuke after speaking. Uchiha Li Yue, what do you want to do? Seeing Li Yue leaning towards him, Sarutobi Shinosuke was terrified and stepped back again and again. As he spoke, he also looked at Orochimaru, hoping that Orochimaru would make a shot. But Orochimaru stood motionless, and seemed to have no intention of making a move. Orochimaru, you are my father's disciple. Have you forgotten how you got your skills? Have you forgotten the help of the Sarutobi clan? Without the help of the Sarutobi clan, you are still a commoner ninja. How could you achieve what you are today? Sarutobi Shinosuke looked at the motionless Orochimaru and asked angrily. But before he finished speaking, he felt a pain in his chest. Looking down, he found that Li Yue had come to him at some point and inserted the long sword into his heart. Sarutobi Shinosuke opened his mouth, feeling that life was being lost, and a trace of despair flashed in his eyes. Sarutobi Hiruzen shouldn't count on me again and again. Li Yue said calmly. When negotiating with Cloud Shinobi Village, he knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo were plotting against him. Although I don't know what method the two used to calculate. But it's okay. No matter what the other party was thinking before, he will take back the money with interest. Killing Sarutobi Shinosuke is just the beginning. As he spoke, he drew out his long sword and gently pushed Sarutobi Shinosuke's body away. Boom! There was a muffled sound. Sarutobi Shinosuke, who had been pierced through the heart, fell to the ground and died completely with a burst of convulsions. The forest returned to its previous calm. Orochimaru on the side saw it all. Looking at the dead Sarutobi Shinosuke, he was silent for a while, then smiled lowly. In the short life of human beings, it is often full of all kinds of fights and lies. They clearly call each other companions, but secretly wish to kill each other. As he spoke, he stopped laughing. The mood gradually became low, and doubts arose in my heart. Question what people live in the world for. Is it for the village? But witnessing the decay of the village, the teacher Sarutobi he admired gradually lost his ambition, and even when he suppressed the ninjas in the same village for his own selfish desires, he began to doubt, is the village really worthy of his dedication? Or is it for a companion? Aren't Li Yue and Sarutobi Shinosuke companions? But the scene of killing his companion was staged right under his nose. All of these will destroy his remaining faith. The so-called village, the so-called companions are nothing but lies between people. Orochimaru was relieved, looking at the dead Sarutobi Shinosuke, without a trace of pity. Life is really fragile. A person who is smiling one second will die the next. He gave up hope for the village and his companions. And after experiencing the deaths of people around him again and again, he has already understood what he wants. Eternal life. What he wants is eternal life. Orochimaru. Looking at the other party's increasingly fanatical eyes, Li Yue knew that Orochimaru was still on that road. And under his influence, he became even more paranoid and crazy. Episode 64, Send Shinosuke's head to the third generation. Mr. Li Yue, let's continue the task. Orochimaru, who has redetermined his life goals and is no longer confused, becomes radiant. Li Yue nodded, and then walked to the dead body of Sarutobi Shinosuke. After cutting off the opponent's head and sealing it on the scroll, he used the breath of flame to burn the headless body. As for why keep the head? Naturally, it was to give the head to Sarutobi Hiruzen after returning to the village, to see what kind of expression the other party would have after witnessing the head of the eldest son. In order to complete the mission, we planned to sneak into Cloud Shinobi Village and let 8 Tails Jinchuriki go berserk. Unfortunately, during the period, the whereabouts were exposed and a battle broke out, and Sarutobi Shinosuke unfortunately died. After finishing everything, Li Yue said lightly, and then looked at Orochimaru, I'm right, Orochimaru tilde? He tilde. Since Mr. Lee Yue has planned everything, why ask me? Orochimaru grinned hoarsely. He was sure of what he wanted, and he was no longer interested in paying attention to the infighting in the village. So it's none of his business, he won't take care of it anymore. Then continue with the task. Lee Yue nodded. He wasn't worried at all about whether Orochimaru would inform him. Because the Eternal Eye gave him enough confidence. It also gave him the whole card to turn the table. The two set off again, and after passing through the forest, they directly caught an unlucky cloud shinobi, used Sharingan to ask the location of Yunlai Gorge, and then headed in that direction. A hut in Yunlai Gorge. Since the last runway, Bruby has been staying here to recuperate. Certainly, self-cultivation is just a rhetoric on the surface. Essentially house arrest. But Bruby also knows why this is so, because he is not suitable to be a Jinchuriki because he often runs wild. Perhaps in a short while, the 8 tails in his body will be deprived, and he himself will die. Let me make one last contribution to the village. Bruby said in a low voice. Although the villagers in the village reject him, he still loves the village and is willing to give his life for the village. As he spoke, he closed his eyes tightly, calmed himself down, and suppressed the power of 8 tails as much as possible. Bruby, it's time to take your medicine. Just then, a voice sounded, and a cloud shinobi walked in, holding a bottle of medicine in his hand. Thank you, yes. Bruby opened his eyes, looked at the medicine and sighed slightly. Because his mentality is affected by rumors. So every time you have to take sedatives to completely suppress 8 tails. And Ikegami is the ninja who gave him medicine. There is no doubt, after taking the medicine, I see it as usual. After taking the medicine, Bu Ruby felt extremely stable in his heart, and his head felt dizzy for a while, and then slowly fell asleep. When Bubi fell asleep, Ikegami, who came to deliver the medicine, suddenly opened his eyes wide, and the originally black pupils turned into Sharingan's appearance. Tilde. Mr. Lee Yue's Sharingan is really easy to use. A hoarse voice sounded, and Orochimaru came in from outside the house, seeing the motionless cloud shinobi, with a flash of surprise in his eyes. Hurry up and do it. Tsunad's hallucinogenic drug can not only hallucinate Branby, but also hallucinate 8 tails. Lee Yue followed closely behind and said quickly, Orochimaru withdrew his gaze, walked up to Bruby with big strides, and pressed his palm on Bruby's chest following the mudra. Wow tilde. A strong airflow rolled up, and tadpole-like lines spread across Bu Ruby's body, and then quickly disappeared. The seal is broken. A tyrannical aura rose rapidly and shook the entire hut. Walk. Lee Yue knew that the plan was successful, and then turned and left without thinking. Seeing this, Orochimaru hurriedly followed. After the two left, the red chakra broke through the hut in an instant, and a terrifying atmosphere swept across the entire Yunlai Gorge. Cloud Shinobi, guarding the Yunlai Gorge, was shocked when he saw this scene. Not good, 8 tails has gone berserk, please notify Lord 3rd Generation. A Cloud Shinobi yells. Soon, the news that 8 tails Jinchuriki Bu Ruby went berserk again spread throughout Cloud Shinobi village. 3rd Raikage, who was still in the office discussing how to save his son, also got the news. Ask for flowers. What did you say? Bruby went berserk again? 3rd Raikage's face was extremely ugly. Now is a special time. His son was kidnapped, and Konoha sent troops to put pressure on him, and saw that a big war was about to break out. If something happens to 8 tails Jinchuriki again, the village doesn't have to think about rescue anymore, it can just compromise with Konoha. Yes, Lord Raikage, and this rampage is worse than the previous ones. Cloud Shinobi who came to report panicked. Damn it. 3rd Raikage punched the desk, and then quickly issued an order. Let the ninjas in the village stand by at any time, and at the same time order the ninjas in the ceiling class to go to Yunlai Gorge to suppress 8 tails. After speaking, he rushed out quickly. Under the command of 3rd Raikage, Cloud Shinobi village started to run at high speed, and ninjas jumped on the rock wall and gathered towards Yunlai Gorge. But when they arrived at Yunlai Gorge, 8 tails Jinchuriki Bruby has burst out 5 tails. Seeing this, 3rd Raikage became anxious and yelled at Butabi. Bruby, wake me up. But just as he finished speaking, he was greeted by a huge chakra arm. Boom! Chakra's arms slammed onto the ground, kicking up dust all over the ground. The avoiding 3rd Raikage gritted his teeth, knowing that Bruby had lost his mind, and in order to regain his composure, he had to completely suppress the power of 8 tails. Thinking of rushing out quickly. But Bruby, who was drugged with hallucinogenic drugs, ran away much faster than expected. With a roar, the crimson chakra spread, and 8 tails Gyuki broke through the seal and ran out completely. Not good. 3rd Raikage shrunk his eyes into needles, looked at 8 tails who had completely run away, and knew that something was wrong. Because Eight Tails, who have completely broken free from the seal, has unimaginable strength and possesses all the power of tailed beasts. Even if it is him, he dare not say that he can suppress it. But the matter has come to this point, and there is no way to escape, so I can only continue to rush forward. At the same time, my heart kept yelling, thinking about why Bruby suddenly went berserk, and he was so determined. Episode 65. Not everyone is as shameless as Sarutobi Hiruzen. Tilda. It's really a spectacular sight. Behind a hidden rock, Orochimaru quietly watched the battle in the distance. Although he participated in many battles. But this is the first time I have seen the melee between the shadow of a village and the rampaging tail beast. Once it is confirmed that Third Raikage is injured, we can take advantage of the chaos and leave. Li Yue also watched with interest. Who does Mr. Li Yue think will win? Orochimaru asked. Both will suffer. Although the tailed beast is powerful, Third Raikage is known as the strongest Raikage in history. He has the titles of the strongest spear and the strongest shield. His strength should not be underestimated. Li Yue thought about Kaido. According to the original book, Third Raikage has at least cage-level peak strength. Although this strength cannot crush Eight Tails, it has no problem against Eight Tails at 200. Third Raikage's strength is indeed remarkable. Orochimaru nodded. I know that this strongest Raikage is the real strongest, not blown out like my teacher. While the two were discussing, the battle between Third Raikage and Eight Tails was still going on. Boom, boom, boom. There were bursts of roaring sounds, and countless flames shot up into the sky with the explosion. The battle went straight from morning to night. Then they fought from night to noon the next day, and it took a full day and a half before they stopped. Seal. The sealing class of Cloud Shinobi Village roared, and countless sealing chains poured out, firmly fixing Eight Tails' body. They couldn't seal Eight Tails back into Bruby's body, though. Because the moment Eight Tails broke free from the seal, Bruby was dead. Eight Tails without Jinchuriki can be said to be wild tail beasts, so they can only be temporarily suppressed in this way. Tilda. The ninjas of the sealing class take turns to seal, and we must not let Eight Tails break free. Third Raikage coughed pale, with a lightning wound on his chest. Although he suppressed Eight Tails, he himself was seriously injured, and the strongest shield he was usually proud of was crushed by Eight Tails. Master Third Generation, are you alright? The ninjas from the medical class surrounded him. I'm fine. Third Raikage took a deep breath, and then stared at everyone with sharp eyes. From now on, immediately seal off the village, and the news of Eight Tails' rampage and my injury must not be spread. It's still the same as I said before. Now is a special period. Konoha's elite army is at the border of the country of Thunder, and the two countries may go to war at any time. If the news of Eight Tails going berserk and her own injury spreads, then there is no need to think about what Konoha will do. So at this time, the message must be hidden. Yes. A group of Cloud Shinobi also knew the seriousness of the matter, so they hurried to Kaido. And Li Yue, who witnessed everything from a distance, also stood up, looked at Orochimaru and said, Cloud Shinobi Village is estimated to be closed soon, so let's leave as soon as possible. Orochimaru nodded. After speaking, the two left quickly. The border of the Land of Thunder. At this time Tsunade is leading the team to contact Cloud Shinobi Village. But just as Li Yue expected, when the people in Cloud Shinobi Village heard about the 4 billion in compensation, they were taken aback, and then rejected it without even thinking about it. Because of Cloud Shinobi's refusal, Tsunade could only return to the resting place, and wait for Li Yue to come back while building the camp. How's it going? After waiting in the camp for several days, Tsunade, who finally waited for Li Yue's return, asked loudly. Successful. Eight Tails Jinchuriki has gone berserk, and Third Raikage was injured in the process of stopping Eight Tails. Li Yue said with a smile. Tsunade breathed a sigh of relief, and then asked, what should I do next? The next step is to claim compensation from Cloud Shinobi again, and tell them clearly that if they don't pay, we will immediately go to war against the Kingdom of Thunder. Li Yue chuckled. Quick battle, start now, don't give Cloud Shinobi Village a chance to prepare. Good. Tsunade nodded, and at the same time asked with some doubts, where is Shinosuke? Why didn't you come back with you? Shinosuke? When we sneaked into Cloud Shinobi Village, we encountered the patrol team of Cloud Shinobi Village. Shinosuke was honorably killed in order to resist the Cloud Shinobi ninja. Li Yue faintly Kaido. As he spoke, he took out the scroll that sealed the head, and showed Tsunade a look. Shinosuke is dead? Tsunade looked at the unsealed head with surprise on his face. After she finished speaking, she glanced at Orochimaru again. Tilda. Orochimaru grinned hoarsely, neither acknowledging nor denying it. Li Yue, come out with me. Tsunade looked at the two back and forth, and then pulled Li Yue out of the camp to a place where no one was there. You killed Shinsuke. She didn't believe what Lee Yue said. After all, Lee Yue and Orochimaru are cage-level masters. With 2 cage-level masters in the lineup, what team can't solve it? So she guessed that Sarutobi Shinsuke died not at the hands of Cloud Shinobi Village, but by the people of Lee Yue. As expected of a woman, my sixth sense is still so strong. Lee Yue chuckled, pulled Tsunade closer, and kissed Tsunade lightly on the forehead. UB************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** to get angry, but she restrained her, and said in a concentrated voice, I can guess it, the old man can guess it even more. Once the old man knows that you killed Sarutobi Shinsuke, he will definitely not let you go. She is a disciple of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Knows Sarutobi Hiruzen's character better than anyone else. Sarutobi Hiruzen looks benevolent on the surface 1.2, but in reality he is darker than anyone else. And as I get older, my selfishness becomes more and more serious, and I like to use power for personal gain more and more. Once it is known that Lee Yue killed Sarutobi Shinsuke, those two are really going to die forever. Do you think I don't know? Lee Yue smiled faintly, her black pupils had turned into eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, but, no one in Konoha can restrain me anymore. Tsunade was about to say something, but before he finished speaking, he saw the strange pattern in Lee Yue's eyes, and a look of shock appeared on his face. This is the Eye of Eternity. Lee Yue said lightly, his eyes seemed to emit a strange light. It is also the Eye of the End that cuts off all shackles. Episode 66, Third Raikage's Abacus, subscribe. Mangekyo Sharingan. Tsunade's beautiful face was full of shock. If anyone knows Mangekyo best, it's Uchiha himself. So who knows second? That must be the Senju clan. After all, those who know themselves are often the enemy. The Senju clan and the Uchiha clan have fought for thousands of years and know each other extremely well. Tsunade, who is a member of the Senju tribe, naturally knows Mangekyo, and even more knows that Uchiha Madara relied on these eyes to compete with his grandfather Senju Hashirama. That's right. Lee Yue nodded. So you're going to fight the old man? Tsunade frowned. It's not a war, I just want to get back what belongs to Uchiha. Lee Yue chuckled. Whatever. Tsunade breathed a sigh of relief. The reason why she said so much was because she cared about Lee Yue. Now seeing that Lee Yue is capable of coping, naturally she has nothing to say. Just me? Then can I understand those words as you care about me? Lee Yue said with a smile. You think too much. Tsunade blushed, then snorted coldly. She will never admit that she really cares about the other party. Yeah? Lee Yue tilted her head, showing a half-smile expression, and then kissed Tsunade again. UB************. Seeing that Lee Yue dared to touch her, Tsunade was furious and threw a punch at Lee Yue, but Lee Yue easily dodged it. Okay, let's continue with the mission and go back to the village after finishing the mission, so that I can see someone's ugly face sooner. Lee Yue walked into the camp with a smile. Snort. Tsunade, whose face turned black, snorted, but had no choice but to follow Lee Yue quickly. Back at the camp, Lee Yue immediately called everyone together. After talking about the next task, he rushed to the border of the Land of Thunder with his troops. When they arrived at the border, the two sides sent personnel to contact again, and Lee Yue also took the opportunity to propose compensation. Everyone, it was you who invaded Cloud Shinobi first, so it is completely reasonable for us to ask for these compensations. Lee Yue mostly sat on the seat, looking at the crowd of Cloud Shinobi with a calm expression. And this is the last negotiation. If Cloud Shinobi Village doesn't pay compensation, we will declare war on Cloud Shinobi Village. Cloud Shinobi, who came to negotiate, was shocked and furious. Just in the morning, they got news from the village that 8 Tails Jinchuriki ran away and Third Raikage was seriously injured. At that time, the village instructed him not to anger Konoha, and to delay as much as possible, preferably for 10.5 days, so that Third Raikage could breathe a sigh of relief. But following what Lee Yue said, the little Jujiu in their hearts was instantly shattered. By noon tomorrow, we want to see reparations. Remember, reparations are not the answer, or we will declare war on Cloud Shinobi Village. After Lee Yue finished speaking, she left with her subordinates. Damn it. Cloud Shinobi was furious to ultimate, but he didn't dare to make a move. Now how to do? Asked another Cloud Shinobi. This matter is no longer up to us, it must be reported to the village. The negotiating Cloud Shinobi took a deep breath, suppressed his anger and said. Cloud Shinobi Village. Third Raikage, who was injured by 8 Tails Rampage, was sent to the hospital, and stayed there all the time. While he was recuperating, he was asked to investigate the cause of 8 Tails Rampage. Master Third Generation, the cause has been investigated. There is a drug left in Bu Ruby's body. Someone should have given him hallucinogenic drugs, which made Bu Ruby go berserk. A Cloud Shinobi report. What? Hallucinogens? Hearing this, Third Raikage was furious, and the wound that had been bandaged was overflowing with blood again. Master Raikage, if you don't want to stay in bed forever, you'd better not get angry easily. A female medical ninja next to her said lightly. I know. Kaido, who was dissatisfied with Third Raikage, looked at Cloud Shinobi again. I remember that the ninja who delivered medicine to Cloud Shinobi was Ikegami. How is Ikegami going? Master, Ikegami is dead, and his brain has been completely destroyed. Nothing can be found. Reported by Cloud Shinobi carefully. Kaido. Hole. Third Raikage growled and punched the hospital bed. Lord Raikage, urgent news from the border. Just then, an Anbu appeared. What? The Third Raikage was startled, and he didn't care to get angry anymore. He hurriedly looked at Anbu. What happened? News from the front line. Uchiha Lee Yue has issued an ultimatum to us, demanding that we pay reparations before noon tomorrow, or declare war on us. Anbu whispered. Damn it. Third Raikage's face was livid. Now Ruby died because of the rampage, AI was held hostage by Konoha again, and he was injured because of Eight Tails' rampage. In the huge Cloud Shinobi village, there is no cage-level powerhouse at this time. What? You mean Urwei Jinchuriki? Sorry, Urwei Jinchuriki is a surviving character from the first Raikage period, and now he is very old. The last time Ruby went berserk, the village found a new Jinchuriki, a newborn baby named Yu Wooden Golem. 930. Because it was just born, its body strength is not enough, so it needs to wait until it is 2 years old before it can be sealed. So don't count on Urwei Jinchuriki. Master Raikage, what should we do now? Anbu, who was half kneeling on the ground, asked. Tilda. Third Raikage took a deep breath, and then said, let the front line tell Konoha that we are willing to compensate Konoha for the loss. But 4 billion is too much, we can't get it out for a while, so we will pay 2 billion first, and the next 2 billion will be paid in the next month. Besides, tell Konoha, after we pay 2 billion, we will release Aihishin and the others immediately. He understands. Cloud Shinobi Village, which has lost all its pillars, is no match for Konoha at all. If there is a real fight, the one who suffers in the end must be himself. But he also doesn't want to suffer this loss. So I came up with a compromise method. That is to redeem AI first. As long as AI returns, there will be cage-level strongmen in the village. Then it defaulted on the remaining 2 billion in compensation. Presumably, after receiving 2 billion Konohas, they will not be pressing harder and harder. This way they have enough time to prepare. Once the high-end combat power of Cloud Shinobi Village returns to the previous level, it will be a war, not what he says. Episode 67, One Person vs 2000 Cloud Shinobi. The border of the Land of Thunder. The negotiating parties meet again. Because this negotiation involves 2 billion funds, the location of the negotiation is not in the camp of either side, but in the center of the two armies. At this time, both sides only brought 6 or 7 people. As for the large troops, they are all behind a few people, and if there is any movement, they will come to support immediately. Give 2 billion first, and pay the rest later? So you brought the money? Lee Yue sat down and heard Cloud Shinobi's narration. That's right. Cloud Shinobi Jonan Brook, who came to negotiate, nodded, and then added, but it was agreed in advance that we must release our people before we are willing to pay the 2 billion. No problem. Lee Yue nodded with a smile, and with a wave of his hand, several people from Cloud Shinobi Village were escorted up. Brother AI, Brother Tutai, are you alright? Seeing AI and the others, the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village suddenly exclaimed. Brook, why are you here? AI was startled when he saw his fellow villager. But soon he thought of something, and his face became extremely ugly. Did father agree to such absurd compensation? Speaking of this, he was very angry. For him, instead of letting the village suffer such a big loss, it is better to let Konoha kill him directly. Brother AI, you will know when you return to the village. Cloud Shinobi named Brook said, and then with a wave of his hand, the boxes were carried up one by one. Here is 2 billion, you can click on it. Lee Yue glanced and asked his subordinates to go and count. As the boxes were opened one by one, I saw stacks of banknotes placed in the boxes. After lightly clicking, it was indeed 2 billion. The quantity is correct, said the Konoha Shinobi who counted. Lee Yue nodded. Lee Yue Jonan, you have also received the compensation, and we will pay the remaining 2 billion within 1 month. Quote, Brook said in a deep voice, and gestured as he spoke, preparing to lead the team away. Why are you leaving in such a hurry? Lee Yue withdrew her gaze and looked at the group of people who were about to leave. Uchiha Lee Yue, we have already paid 2 billion, what else do you want to do? AI was furious and stared at Lee Yue. It is true that I paid 2 billion, but my request has always been 4 billion, so there are 2 billion left? Li Yue said with a smile. Li Yue Jonan, our Lord Raikage said that the remaining 2 billion will be paid in the next month. Brook repeated what he had just said. Successive payment? Li Yue chuckled. Although Cloud Shinobi Village is not the strongest village in the ninja world, it is not the weakest village either. During World War II, Sand Shinobi was defeated, and the broken land of the Land of Winds could spend 4 billion, let alone the wealthier Land of Thunder. Now Cloud Shinobi Village says it can't afford so much for a while? Is this fooling him for a fool? So he never believed Cloud Shinobi's words from the beginning to the end. 4 euros. If Cloud Shinobi Village can't come up with the remaining 2 billion, don't even think about getting out of this tent. Uchiha Li Yue, you are too deceitful. AI roared furiously, and purple lightning appeared from his body, as if he wanted to make a move. Just when people thought AI was going to make a move. Instead, AI quickly grabbed Killer Bee's arm, then turned and ran. Seeing this, other Cloud Shinobi also made the same action. It turned out that when the silver was counted, several people made gestures and agreed that if the situation was wrong, they would run away immediately. This is the border of the Land of Thunder. In order to save his son, Third Raikage deployed 2,000 Cloud Shinobi at the border. The negotiation site is only 2 kilometers away from there. As long as they run out of the tent and release the distress signal, they can be rescued by their companions. Tsunade, Orochimaru, stop them. Li Yue smiled and was well prepared. He never thought of letting a few people leave, so how could he bring only a few people here? Early in the morning he had Tsunade and Orochimaru lay in ambush outside. As long as there is a change in Cloud Shinobi, take it immediately. A few friends from Cloud Shinobi Village, please stay. Orochimaru's hoarse voice sounded. Then I saw countless lion majesty coming from all directions, blocking the way of Cloud Shinobi. Brook, delivery rate. AI yelled. Clear. Brook immediately took out the flare, and as the light rose, it lit up the sky. Cloud Shinobi, 2 kilometers away, also saw the signal for the first time. Snort. It seems that you are already prepared. Tsunade's figure descended from the sky and punched Ye Yue with a fist. B************* D. Ye Yue AI roared loudly, thunder and lightning erupted from his body, and faced Tsunade's attack without dodging or dodging. He quickly went up to him. Boom! Fist to fist. A dull voice exploded, and then Ye Yue AI was seen flying out, hitting the ground hard, with blood spilling from the corner of his mouth. It's not that Ye Yue is too weak, nor is Tsunade too strong. It was Li Yue who had severely injured overnight Yue before. And in order to prevent him from escaping, Li Yue didn't give him a bite of food at all, so their condition had already reached their limit, and they were injured by Nashawa's boxing. Why? The Earth platform hurriedly cleared away the lion majesty that was rushing, and protected AI behind him. I'm fine, as long as we resist for a while, we can get support. AI whispered. Tutai nodded and continued to be vigilant. They have released the flares, and the army of 2,000 Cloud Shinobi will be here soon. Li Yue came out of the tent and said calmly. 2,000 meters is very close, good Li Zhao. With the footsteps of a ninja, the 2,000 meters can be reached in 5 minutes at most. Do you want to take them away? Orochimaru stopped what he was doing and turned to look at Li Yue. Leave? Why did you leave? Li Yue chuckled, squinting her eyes and looking ahead. If they don't hurt Cloud Shinobi Village, how can they be willing to pay compensation? Li Yue, do you want to? Tsunade was taken aback. Since Third Raikage is so confident in his ninjas, let me meet those Cloud Shinobi. A sharp light flashed in Li Yue's eyes. It's just a good time to try it, what it feels like to be besieged by 2,000 people. What? After saying this, let alone Tsunade and the others, even Cloud Shinobi and his team were shocked. What do you mean by that? Is Li Yue going to fight against 2,000 Cloud Shinobi alone? Episode 68, Cloud Shinobi. 2 kilometers away. The 2,000 Cloud Shinobi who received the signal are heading towards the negotiation direction. But before they arrived at the negotiation site, they saw a purple thunderbolt rushing from a distance. In just an instant, they appeared in front of 2,000 Cloud Shinobi. Stop! The leader, Cloud Shinobi, waved his hand, and the large army behind him stopped immediately. When he saw who it was, his eyes widened. Uchiha Li Yue? They didn't expect that the person blocking them would be the culprit of this incident, Li Yue. After reacting, all Cloud Shinobi showed hatred. As long as the 2,000 Cloud Shinobi are settled, the old fellow Third Raikage will have no reason to delay the payment. Li Yue secretly thought, then jumped down from the big tree, came to the ground, and walked towards the 2,000 Cloud Shinobi step by step. His steps are slow. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Slowly turning into a trot, then, speeding up in vain. Do it! The lead Cloud Shinobi woke up with a roar. 100 of the 2,000 Cloud Shinobi stood up in an instant. These 100 quickly took out their knives, and then threw 860 with all their strength. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. There was a violent cracking sound. Countless kunai shurikens shot up into the sky, and then poured down like a torrential rain. Ah! Li Yue just chuckled when she saw this. In the next second, his body turned into lightning and rushed in front of 100 Cloud Shinobi. Breath of Thunder One-shaped thunderbolt flash 6 links. Thorn. Lightning suddenly appeared. Just hearing a series of screams, more than a dozen human heads shot up into the sky. So fast. Other Cloud Shinobi horrified. Let's do it together, Uchiha Li Yue besieged. The leader, Cloud Shinobi, roared in rage. Siege? Li Yue smiled lightly. Immediately, a sharp light flashed across the eyes, the dark pupils turned into 3 Tomoe Sharingan, and the body rushed out. Shua Tilda instantly came to a Cloud Shinobi. With a light grab, he grabbed this Cloud Shinobi, and then slammed it on the ground. Boom! There was a roar, and the ground exploded. Before this Cloud Shinobi screamed out, he was killed by a living dart. After one blow, Li Yue made another shot. As soon as his body turned, his left foot swept away like a long whip. Before Cloud Shinobi could react, he was kicked to death by Li Yue. At the same time, with a grabbing hand, he directly grabbed the kunai in the hand of a Cloud Shinobi, turned his index finger, pressed his palm together, and kunai directly pierced the Cloud Shinobi's throat. Do it! Do it! Kill Uchiha Li Yue! Cloud Shinobi Jonin saw Li Yue killing a dozen Cloud Shinobi in an instant, and immediately roared angrily. But just after he finished speaking, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. Looking down, Li Yue came to him at some point and pierced his chest with a sword. Ah! With an unbelievable sound, the body is heavy. Seeing that the other party was dead, Li Yue drew out her long sword and quickly formed a seal. Fire style extinguish fire. Boom! Terrifying flames spit out from Li Yue's mouth in an instant, turning into an endless sea of flames and rushing towards Cloud Shinobi. This flame is really terrible. Obviously it's only a B-level ninjutsu, but regardless of its scale or power, it has reached the level of an S-level ninjutsu. Ah! The more than 100 Cloud Shinobi in the front were engulfed by the sea of flames before they had time to react, screaming pitifully. Hole. The leading Cloud Shinobi was furious and led the rest of the Cloud Shinobi to continue charging. Lightning-style Thunder Dragon. A roar sounded. I saw a Cloud Shinobi Jonin rushing fiercely. Countless thunder and lightning intertwined on his body, turning into the shape of a giant dragon, just like a thunder dragon crashing into him. Lightning-style Thunder Net. Several more Yun, DBEC, could not bear to shout. As the words fell, countless bolts of lightning spread across the ground, forming a huge net, trying to trap Li Yue. Too weak. Li Yue shook her head expressionlessly. With a turn of the gaze, the 3 Tomoe Sharingan instantly turned into the Eternal Eye. The red chakra appeared, forming a Susanoo arm. The moment the Thunder Dragon charged, its arm chopped down. Boom! This Cloud Shinobi Jonin flew out. He slammed into the ground heavily, crushing the ground, and passed out without even a scream. After completing a blow, Li Yue jumped up to avoid the lightning net on the ground, then Susan swung his arm across and swept away several Cloud Shinobi who were using the lightning net. Kill! Cloud Shinobi continued to charge while roaring. For this kind of siege, Li Yue has no fear. Sharingan combined with the Breath of Thunder allows him to shuttle through the crowd like lightning, and every time he passes through, he will harvest several lives. In just a few minutes, 200 or 300 Cloud Shinobi died in the hands of Li Yue. Everyone used joint ninjutsu. The leader, Cloud Shinobi, roared in rage. He knew that ordinary ninjutsu was useless to Li Yue. If he wanted to hurt Li Yue, he had to unite everyone and use more powerful ninjutsu. Cloud Shinobi immediately gathered together after hearing this. Everyone has come up with their own housekeeping skills. All of a sudden, hundreds of lightning styles gathered together, making a terrifying roar, which was even more terrifying than natural lightning. Susanoo. Li Yue's gaze was fixed, the 6-pointed star pattern in his eyes spun extremely fast, and the red chakra soared into the sky. Just moments later, a chakra giant appeared. The giant is wearing armor, holding a huge shield in his left hand and a long sword in his right hand. Swish! There was a violent explosion. Susanoo's long sword slammed down. The lightning style jointly used by a group of Cloud Shinobi was dissipated before it could play a role. What ninjutsu is this? The Cloud Shinobi were terrified and backed away. But Li Yue didn't answer, let alone stop, and controlled Susanoo to take a step, slashing with the long sword in his hand. Boom! The earth roared. Dozens of cloud shinobi were hit, and before they could scream, they were killed by a sword. The screams were endless, and the casualties continued to expand. Seeing such a terrifying Li Yue, no matter how big Cloud Shinobi's heart is, he couldn't stop being frightened. Looking at the giant standing upright, as if about to destroy the world, I was even more absent-minded for a while. Why, Uchiha Li Yue has such a history? The Cloud Shinobi were horrified. It has only been 10 minutes since Li Yue appeared. But in this short 10 minutes, more than 500 Cloud Shinobi were killed. If go on, I'm afraid it won't be long before they will be slaughtered by Li Yue. Episode 69, Flame Burns the World. A trash fish is a trash fish after all, no matter how many people there are. Li Yue looked at the terrified Cloud Shinobi, and said contemptuously. What did you say? All the Cloud Shinobi roared and glared at Li Yue one after another. Don't talk to him, continue to siege. The lead Cloud Shinobi growled. He knew that this battle was crucial and Li Yue must be defeated, otherwise Cloud Shinobi Village's plan would come to nothing. Kill! Thousands of ninjas woke up startled, roared again, and then rushed towards Li Yue desperately. The terrifying killing intent soared into the sky, causing the white clouds in the sky to shatter. Lightning-style thunder flash. More than 200 Cloud Shinobi roared at the same time. With the arm raised, purple lightning bolts shot towards Li Yue. Thorn. The sound of lightning and thunder exploded. The ninjutsu performed by 200 Cloud Shinobi is super powerful. Li Yue's expression remained unchanged, and she continued to raise Susan's long sword. Swish! The thunder and lightning collided with the long sword, countless flames surged, and a huge explosion occurred. The storm set off by the explosion spread and spread around. Uchiha Li Yue, die to me! The lead Cloud Shinobi roared. Surrounded by lightning, he came to Li Yue at a very high speed, his palm was like a knife, and he chopped off heavily. Boom! Hand knife cut on Susanoo. Susanoo trembled, but there was no damage. Obviously the strength of this Cloud Shinobi was not enough to penetrate Susanoo's defense. Are you in such a hurry to court death? A murderous intent flashed in Li Yue's eyes. Control Zhu Zhao's arm to grab this Cloud Shinobi directly, and then press it hard to the ground. Boom! The ground exploded instantly, and cracks appeared day by day. This Cloud Shinobi let out a scream as if he had been hit hard, and scarlet blood spit out from his mouth continuously. But the other party is not an unknown junior. Even though he was severely injured, he got up immediately, and then endured the severe pain, and quickly retreated to distance himself from Susanoo. Protect Lord Beichuan. The other Cloud Shinobi were shocked and outraged when they saw this. The full name of Master Beichuan in their mouth is Beichuan Jing, elite jonin of Cloud Shinobi Village, and also the leader of this team. If Beichuanjing, who is the team leader, is killed, one can imagine what kind of defeat this team will face. In the roar, a large number of Cloud Shinobi rushed. And this time Cloud Shinobi got smarter. They knew that Susanoo's defense was amazing, and random attacks couldn't penetrate Susanoo's defense at all. So they locked their eyes on one place. Get ready to gather all your ninjutsu, attack this place, and forcefully break Susanoo. Thorn tilde. Countless thunder and lightning roared. Terrifying energy erupted and bombarded Susanoo heavily. Oh? A trace of surprise flashed in Li Yue's eyes, but she underestimated Cloud Shinobi's wisdom. Susanoo in the fourth stage is indeed not invincible. One or two ninjutsu may be able to defend, but when encountering hundreds or thousands of ninjutsu, it seems not enough. Catcher tilde. Cracks appeared on Susanoo's body, and then exploded violently. Boom! Numerous flames rose up, and the turbulent airflow agitated. But Cloud Shinobi was not afraid, but cheered. It worked. The giant formed by chakra was defeated by us. Without the defense of the giant chakra, what will Uchiha Li Yue use to fight us? The Cloud Shinobi were very excited, as if they saw the dawn of victory. It's the same without Susanoo for you scumbags. At this moment, a sneer came from the smoke. In the next second, the smoke and dust were broken, and Li Yue's figure rushed out from inside. His speed was as fast as ultimate, like a flash of lightning, and the sunwheel knife in his hand waved along with it, bringing out a burst of thunder. Thorn tilde. In just an instant, dozens of human heads flew up. JV. Cloud Shinobi, who was still cheering unceasingly, screamed out in fright when he saw this. Looking at the flying heads, he was horrified to ultimate. That's when they remembered. Li Yue not only has the ninjutsu of Susanoo, but also has amazing speed. Careful! Before saying this, Li Yue came to this Cloud Shinobi. The sunwheel knife pierced like lightning, piercing through the body of this Cloud Shinobi. Asking for flowers. Ah! Cloud Shinobi opened his mouth wide, and blood kept spitting out from his mouth. To the end of his life, he didn't understand why Li Yue, who is a Konoha shinobi, had such a terrifying lightning style. Li Yue, who easily killed a cloud shinobi, didn't stop there. Pull out the sun blade. The lightning on the blade turned into flames. Breath of flame form of Wu Flame Tiger. Boom! Blazing flames soared into the sky. A huge tiger seemed to be roaring in flames, and then rushed out under the horrified eyes of all cloud shinobi. Run! Get out of the way! You must not be hit by this flame! Cloud shinobi roared. 0. Although I don't know how powerful this move is, but just from the temperature of the flames, we can tell that this move is definitely an S-rank ninjutsu. After saying this, Cloud Shinobi fled in all directions. But before Cloud Shinobi could escape, the flames of the flaming tiger spread, turning into an endless sea of flames and engulfing the surroundings. More than 100 Cloud Shinobi were engulfed in flames before they could scream. Why? How did this happen? Seeing this, the other Cloud Shinobi showed expressions of fear. They didn't expect that besides Susanoo and lightning style, Li Yue also mastered this terrifying fire style. One strike. Just one hit. Just let hundreds of Cloud Shinobi die. This ultimate method destroyed most of Cloud Shinobi's hopes and made them start to fear. What about 2,000 people? Li Yue looked at the terrified Cloud Shinobi, and the corners of his mouth curled up. A trash fish is a trash fish after all, no matter how many there are, there will be no qualitative change. Said, lost again. From time to time, flames gushed out from the sunwheel knife in his hand. A group of Cloud Shinobi woke up, looking at Li Yue approaching, the fear in their eyes could no longer be concealed. Facing Li Yue's approach, what they thought was no longer confrontation, but escape. So, a strange scene appeared on the battlefield. Li Yue walked towards Cloud Shinobi step by step, but Cloud Shinobi retreated step by step full of fear. The remaining 1,000 Cloud Shinobi. No one dared to confront Li Yue. Episode 70, Ninja Shura. Gentlemen, don't be afraid, don't forget why we fight. The leading Beichuan mirror roared loudly. After saying this, Cloud Shinobi, who was originally afraid, woke up instantly. They remembered their purpose in coming to the border. I remembered the situation in the village. Knowing that once this battle fails, Cloud Shinobi village will face 4 billion in compensation, or even more. At the thought of this, all Cloud Shinobi don't back down anymore. Although they are still afraid of Li Yue's strength, they are willing to suppress their fear and continue to block for the sake of the village. As expected of a ninja from Cloud Shinobi village. Li Yue smiled when she saw this. Although the ninjas in Cloud Shinobi village are all reckless, they are indeed more fishy than other villages in terms of unity. In order to protect the interests of the village, even the fear of death can be suppressed. But the boring battle should be over. Li Yue looked around and walked step by step. Cloud Shinobi, who stopped in his tracks, saw Li Yue approaching, with cold sweat dripping from the corners of his forehead, holding their weapons tightly and swallowing. Kill! Beichuan mirror roared out. This loud roar seemed to infect everyone, and all Cloud Shinobi rushed towards Li Yue without any hesitation. Thunder's breath, one shape, thunderbolt flash, 8 consecutive. Li Yue opened his mouth lightly, then squatted down. The airflow from his nose was visible to the naked eye. Boom! The earth roared. The ground seemed to be unable to withstand this force, and it exploded in an instant. And Li Yue also rushed out at extreme speed. Thorn tilde. Countless thunderlights danced. Li Yue seemed to be transformed into lightning, shuttled across the battlefield at high speed. Those Cloud Shinobi didn't react at all, they were beheaded and died completely. In an instant, hundreds of ninjas died in battle. Keep a distance and attack with ninjutsu, don't get too close. A Jonin yelled in horror. At this ultimate speed, not to mention ordinary ninjas, even Jonin like them can't react. Once they encounter it, they may be killed by a knife. Cloud Shinobi, who was rushing towards Li Yue, stopped immediately after hearing this, wanting to retreat. Li Yue is faster than them. The body is like lightning, and continues to shuttle through the crowd. There was a scream. Countless heads were flying in the air. In the blink of an eye, 40 or 50 ninjas died. And more importantly, Li Yue's speed was so fast that no one could catch Li Yue's figure. The screams continued. The battlefield became a Shura field. Every second, a human head will fly up, and every second, a Cloud Shinobi will die. After a while, the ground was stained red with blood, and headless corpses fell to the ground, completely losing their voices. After this round of killing, there were originally 1,000 Cloud Shinobi, but now there are only 500 left, and the remaining 500 Cloud Shinobi are also full of fear, losing the strength of the first battle. Monster. What we are dealing with is not a human being at all, but a monster. For this kind of Shura, how can we be opponents? The Cloud Shinobi were completely terrified. The strength Li Yue showed was too terrifying. If it was just a mere massacre, Cloud Shinobi, who had experienced the massacre, might not be afraid. What really frightens them is 2,000 Cloud Shinobi couldn't cause any damage to Li Yue, and couldn't even capture Li Yue's figure. That's right. Since the battle began, not to mention being injured, Li Yue didn't even take a breath. This powerful and incomprehensible posture is the reason for their fear. Withdraw. Bei Chuanjing, who originally wanted to continue fighting, also issued an order at this moment. He knew that if he didn't evacuate, the remaining 500 Cloud Shinobi would be killed by Li Yue. After speaking, he quickly stopped in front of Li Yue. Prepare to die on the battlefield while fighting for a chance for your companions to evacuate. Withdraw. Withdraw quickly. Hearing the captain's words, Cloud Shinobi showed the joy of surviving the catastrophe, and kept backing away amidst panicky roars. Do you want to use your own life to fight for a way out for your companions? Li Yue chuckled, seeing what the other party was thinking. Uchiha Li Yue, if you want to attack them, just step on my dead body first. Bei Xuanjing growled, his eyes fixed on Li Yue. Ah. Li Yue chuckled, with an indescribably contemptuous tone, a side character that has never appeared in the original novel, so don't play so much, do you really think you are the protagonist? As he spoke, his body turned into lightning. Shua tilde. The purple lightning turned into a bright brilliance, which slowly dissipated with the flying of a human head. Bei Chuanjing, who was originally blocking Li Yue, had turned into a headless corpse at this moment. With the spray of blood, the corpse fell heavily. Spike. 1 second, Bei Xuanjing, who was righteous and awe-inspiring like the protagonist, was instantly killed by Li Yue in the next second, and he didn't even react until his death. Wouldn't it be nice to be a good actor, and run out to grab the show? Li Yue glanced at the corpse behind her, and made a slight remark. After finishing speaking, he put away the sunwheel knife and did not continue to pursue. Because the Cloud Shinobi who chose to evacuate had dispersed, although he could catch up, it was unnecessary. After all, the remaining 500 Cloud Shinobi are nothing to be afraid of, just hand them over to the elite ninjas in the village. After waiting in place for a while, there was a shout behind him. Master Li Yue, we're here to help. There was a shout, and he turned his head and saw Tsunade and Orochimaru coming with a large army. However, as soon as they landed at 0.4, they saw a hellish scene. The blood stained the ground red, turning the ground into dark black, corpses piled up into mountains, and Li Yue stood on the hill of corpses, looking down as if looking down. This. The two gasped. Looking at the piled up corpses, even they were shocked. What's wrong? Master Tsunade, Master Orochimaru? Other ninjas also jumped out of the forest. But after saying this, he smelled a pungent smell of blood. Subconsciously looked, and then the two of them froze in place. Looking at the pile of corpses and Li Yue standing on the pile of corpses, a thought appeared in everyone's mind. That is, Shura.